Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And there's been a lot of discussion about the future of Call of Duty Vanguard right here and the things that we would love to see in the game. But also, Censor discussing his future in competitive Call of Duty and how he's going to get on the Dallas Empire next year. And tweeting your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you were new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, this from Tim the Tapman. Few creators tweeting something like this out. There's all sorts of leaks and teasers coming out right now. I'm pretty sure it's just in like 3 days time on August the 19th when the championship officially does kick off, that we're also going to have some official announcement or trailer or something for Call of Duty Vanguard. So hopefully at that point we're going to have some indication how the game's going to play, more indication of what it could be like for competitive play at the very least. And there's been a lot of talk about it these last couple of days on what things we would like to see, what things are rumoured to be seen, and some positives and negatives, to be honest, to talk about in today's video. This is what Censor comes out with. Thought this is kind of funny, right? Because obviously he does these like optimistic tweets. He loves to do this type of stuff. Call of Duty Vanguard will have anti-cheat, interactive ranked playlist from launch, Modern Warfare engine, vibrant colours, incredible camos. It will be the best COD of all time, kind of mirroring what we looked at from Attach earlier today. Now the anti-cheat we've certainly heard a lot of rumours about. The colours we'll look at here in a second apparently is also going to be the case. Camos I don't really know. Modern Warfare engine has not necessarily been confirmed, but we're pretty sure that's also going to be the case. So and there's also the interactive ranked playlist from launch, which is I don't really think anyone expected to drop right at launch, and also dropping it at launch isn't necessarily the best idea anyway, just because like you have no idea what the game actually is going to be like for competitive, right? Like what maps do you put in the ranked playlist at launch when you have no idea what people are playing on? I mean, you could probably do it anyway, but I mean, I'm just saying that maybe it makes sense to leave it a couple of weeks, but no longer than that, hopefully. Sledgehammer, if you happen to be listening, thought this is kind of funny actually, because Modern Warzone tweeted it out, rumoured to have an interactive ranked playlist at launch. I was like, okay, where has this come from? And in the replies they actually said, yeah, they got this from Doug's tweet, even though Doug's basically just making this up and just like, wishful thinking of what might happen here. So this was of course ended up being deleted. Hopefully that might be the case though, or at least relatively close to launch. Some discussion here between Spoons and easyMac, right, on whether it should happen at launch or whether they should just leave it a little bit, right, give them a couple of weeks or so to figure out exactly what might work, what they should ban, what maps to even play, what game modes actually make sense in this game. The pros tend to figure these things out relatively quickly and then put that in the ranked playlist, but not have it too much on the back burner like it has been these last couple of seasons. This is also interesting, right, because a lot of people would say, look, I just wish we go back to Pick 10. I think Pick 10 was, at least for competitive play, it was absolutely fantastic. You look back at Black Ops 2, for example, pretty much everything had some sort of counter you could bring in. Like, doesn't matter what you were using, there was all some sort of counter perk you could bring into play, and you had to make the decision, okay, how many attachments do you run on your weapon? Do you run 2 attachments? Do you run 3 attachments? Like, what do you do with your wildcards, right, in terms of how many perks you're putting on, the perk 1 greed, perk 2 greed, all this type of stuff. Pick 10 was absolutely spectacular. Of course, nowadays, that's unlikely to ever return, right, with the prevalence of Warzone. Apparently, there's Gunsmith now with 10 attachments. So, these last few games, there's just been so many attachments on these weapons, it's absolutely ridiculous. And some of my frustrations with this is like, you just take the best gun in the game and you can just make it good at just anything you want to do. Like, slap all the attachments on the weapon, and that weapon now that's like the kind of jack of all trades weapon is just going to be the best at all ranges because you can just modify it with all the attachments. You don't need like a close range AR, a long range AR, a close range SMG, like a high firing SMG, because you can just use the best SMG and make it the best at all situations with all the attachments. So maybe not necessarily what we wanted to see, but I'm still something which is coming back and not really too much of a surprise about that one at the end of the day. This then from Censor, right? He's had a difficult season in the Challenger side, legit heartbroken, he says, after he got knocked out of the Challengers World Championship not too long ago now, and he's talking about what's next for him, right? Does he continue on competing? What's his plan, right? Because with no expansion coming into play, if there was expansion, I can see a world in which Doug gets a spot. There's been a fair few chances this season, potentially, where he could have got on a team like Seattle Surge, or at least considering Censor. Maybe they weren't really, like, seriously considering Censor, but there was discussions going on there, right, about, okay, could Doug step into that team? When the whole Loony, Decimate, Classic questions were being raised at the time, Doug could have got into that team. There was also, like, if he'd have stayed on the subliners, right, with some of the crazy changes that they've had, could he have managed to find a way on that squad? Who really knows, right? It's tough to say. But yes, this is what he plans to do going forward. My first year competing in Challengers in Cold War was one of the most eye-opening experiences as a competitor. From playing on 5 milliseconds for the first 6 months to pick up teams every single week, this year tested me in ways I will grow stronger from. Excited for COD Vanguard and what's next. So certainly still plans to keep on competing. And as he says right here on stream a couple of days ago, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but discussing what he wants to do next season and what he thinks could happen next season with the Dallas Empire, his expectations going into champs for them, the difficulties they're going to have, and then Censor turning it around. And as he's all predicted pretty much the entirety of this season, if they put him on a right squad, he will take down the Tiny Terrors, no question about it.
When we'll see Dougie in the CDL? Yo, day 1 next year. All right, here's the plan. I said it early in the stream. I didn't say the specifics though. Crimsix is going to go into champs this year. He's going to play the Tiny Terrors in the finals. They're going to on him. They're going to assassinate him for the loss. He's going to retire, and then he's going to ask me to take his spot on the squad. And he's going to bench Rambo or make Rambo the second coach, and he's going to be the main coach. So Crim is going to be the main coach for Dallas Empire, and I'm going to take his spot, and he's going to be working very closely with me going into the beginning of Vanguard as my head coach on Dallas Empire. That's basically what's going to go down.
So this follows up with what Censor was saying before. The year is 2022. Anti-cheat was introduced in COD late 2021. COD Vanguard is an interactive and addicting ranked playlist at launch. OpTic beats Crimsix in the first major finals of 2022. Crimsix calls me in desperation to take down the green wall, and we go on to win the world championship. So interesting stuff. In the previous clip, he was discussing, okay, Crimsix is going to retire. He's going to go to the coaching role. Then Doug's going to come into the team. That's going to be what it takes for Dallas Empire to win. Maybe some wishful thinking on Censor's part, no doubt. But still, I'm excited to see where Censor goes next. Also interesting questions, right, about the Dallas Empire, because they're that type of team that if they don't win a championship this year, like if they don't win champs, which they're not exactly favourites to do so by any means, then like they're going to have some serious questions about their squad, because at the end of the day, Crimsix wants to win pretty much at all cost. And yes, they've had a couple of decent chances this year. They've made a couple of grand finals and made it pretty close with Atlanta FaZe both times they played them, but still not the results they were looking for. Rumours coming out in the middle of the season that were even looking at bringing Clayster back into their squad at the middle of the season. Maybe that wouldn't really have helped them too much given the role dynamics on that team, but maybe it would have done, and maybe it could have improved their squad even better than it already is. Like, they certainly have a solid team, but it doesn't seem right now to be quite a championship winning team. It might well be there. They could turn up for champs. I'm sure they're working really hard behind the scenes, but it's just tough to do so with all the situations right now, which just opens up such a massive killer fish for the off season, right? Because Crimsix and the rest of those guys, they want to win. Like, they're not happy with, they're not satisfied with top 3. They're not satisfied with top 2. They want to be number 1, right? And not winning a world championship or not winning a championship in general in this entire game is probably going to send them over the edge of making some sort of move, I would imagine, going into next year, which certainly continues to open up the massive can of worms for the other teams in the league as well. And maybe Doug Martin finds himself a spot, but I kind of doubt it unless expansion comes into play. Wanted to mention this as well because I missed it in yesterday's video. Congrats to Zuma for breaking 20,000 subs on Twitch. That is absolutely remarkable. Like, I'm not sure where that puts him right now in terms of like the highest subscribed creators on Twitch, but he's absolutely out of control. He's killing it on the stream. It's fantastic to see, not just for him personally, but also for the Call of Duty scene in general. Like, I think everyone kind of would have predicted that Zuma had that kind of incredibly entertaining personality, that once he actually quit playing Call of Duty at some point or another, he was going to kill it on the content side. And he's done so, you know, breaking all the expectations I think people had, which it's just fantastic, right? And I'm sure a lot of people are coming into Zuma's stream that are finding him just because he's got so many viewers and a really entertaining guy as well, that don't necessarily watch competitive Call of Duty too much. So it's great from so many different fronts. So congrats to Zuma, no doubt. Absolutely fantastic work, and I'm sure he's going to continue killing it on the stream side, or really whatever he turns his hand to, because he's just that type of guy. And also works really hard as well, which is a massively important thing if you want to kill it on the content side. Wanted to mention these as well from Lionman, right? So stage 5 cards with the World Championship just around the corner. These are the ones for the Toronto Ultra. Bants with a difficult stage, no doubt. The rest of the guys absolutely killing it as usual. Kami actually went negative in hardpoint, but his search and destroy control, absolutely ridiculous. Damage per 10 minutes from CleanX is such an impressive stat. The pressure this guy puts on the map. Sometimes he takes, maybe he goes a bit too aggressive and overcharges a little bit more than maybe I'd like to see. But CleanX, when he's popping off and when he's on fire, definitely one of the scariest players in the game. If he can get Bants' SMG duo to start performing back to like stage 2 major type Bants, then Toronto Ultra really have a great chance. And to be fair, they still have a great chance at the major, right? They've got the bye in the winners brackets, but I'm pretty sure they play the winner of Dallas versus Minnesota Rokkr, so not exactly going to be easy. And these, of course, are the champions, right? Rokkr from last stage. Standy, I mean, what an absolute monster this guy is. A 96 overall, a 1.35 in search and destroy. That is completely ridiculous. 99s across the board in some of these categories. And yeah, that really is what it takes, right? MVP of the stage, no doubt about that. Can he keep performing like this going into the World Championship? Certainly something he's probably going to have to do if they want to get over line. Just to mention this as well, actually, given we were discussing COD Vanguard, there is talk about, colour actually coming into the game as Doug Martin predicted, because I think we would love to see the games actually be somewhat colourful, because that was really the issue with World War II. Wasn't necessarily the most fun game to watch and to play because the colours weren't exactly spectacular, but apparently this game actually has colour in it, which is obviously what we want to see as well. So if they can make it actually kind of vibrant, then I think we're in for a great year, no doubt, as long as the game is actually pretty good as well. And just to finish off with this, another classic clip from the World Championship a few years ago back in Infinite Warfare now. This is, of course, Team Envy versus E United, the legendary Precinct uplink comeback that, the listening on this is absolutely phenomenal. One of the greatest Call of Duty moments of all time, no doubt. If you've got a friend who's like new to competitive Call of Duty and you want to show them like one clip that kind of sums it up, how good it is, and what a fantastic moment this was, this is the one that I usually tend to show people. But intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thanks for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
What is your best clutch moment since you become a pro? 10-0 ILLey comeback on United at Champs in 2017. That was a pretty crazy clutch moment for us.
Let's go. Yeah, pass. Go. Right back for now. I got this. When he's gonna have to play the ball.
I'll play ball with you.
He's on the head, Austin. Nice. Yo, we can trap him right here. This is it right now. Prestinni needs a ball. Help me. Help me ball. I'm looking at orange. I'm pass it. On the peg. Yeah, pass it you can. Yeah. Pass it out. On the streaks.
Yeah, I'm back up.
I can streak you. I'm about to car. Let's go. Pour the ball. I'm flanking. Let's go. I got streak. Go. You gotta shut your play. I'll get streak. I'll get streak. I'm better streak him as soon as I spawn. I spawn streaking. I got streaks. What do you count in front? Alright, I'm going to wood. I'm by the peg. Want me to pass it to you? Yeah. Where are you? Go away from me. Pass it to you. Camo. Let's peg on the peg.
They're on me. He's one shot on you.
He's 2 kills. Let's go! Let's go! Put it in the window! He's camoing, one shot!
One shot
on you! Let's get on the ball heady,
I gotta reload.
Barman. I got one. Nice. Play near me. Let's go. They can still win. Play ball. All of you. Throw it out right away. They're going white. Full white. Throw out to you. Full white. Just run away. Go to the peg. On the peg. Oh wait.
One more cat.
Let's go. He choked so hard. Let's go.